Though Prince Siddhartha's life had been well arranged by the palace, there were moments when his mind flashed, questioned, contemplated the reality of the society and the world. Those moments, though short, were meaningful to the prince's awakening. For example, when the prince went to villages with the king, he noticed the striking difference between him and the sweating laborers. When watching the earth being plowed, he saw earthworms exposed and devoured by the birds. Also, the aging and sickness of the people, and the coming death, were all frightening. But out of all these, it was his meeting with the renunciant that ignited his mind and helped him find his mission, the purpose of his life. One day, the prince was sitting under a tree, contemplating on birth and death, arising and ceasing, and impermanence of the world. He thought, the world truly is a place of suffering. Human life is limited, but ordinary people do not realize their own impermanence. They spend their lives in toil just to make a living. What a tragedy! Ordinary people see how frightful the aging, illness, and death of others are. But they do not see how short and dreadful their own lived are. Truly, this is the great affliction of human life. I must not be like this. I must triumph over the deceit created by youth and vitality. I shall conquer aging, illness, and death. I will not let the people of this world suffer from these afflictions forever. I must find the way to liberation. When the prince was pondering on these thoughts, a renunciant appeared before him. The prince quickly stood up to greet him. Respectfully, the prince asked, "Who are you, and why are you dressed in such strange clothing?" "Since you ask," the renunciant said, "I am one who has left the ties of family behind. I wish to escape the suffering of aging, illness, and death. My purpose is to find the great path of freedom and liberation. No one can avoid aging, illness, and death. None can escape impermanence in its many forms. Therefore, I have left home to become a renunciant. I have no joys or sorrows. My only wish is to attain a state beyond birth and death, to reach the exalted state of equality in all things. I desire neither wealth nor woman. I live my days in the tranquility of the forest. I have completely cut myself from concerns of worldly fame or benefit, and have no thoughts of I or mine. I do not differentiate between pure and impure, between beautiful and ugly. I beg for food in cities and villages to sustain this temporary body of mine. When I come upon people who are suffering, I do everything I can to alleviate their pain. The avenue never hoped for repayment, nor sought to garner merit. My only aim is to take the world's suffering upon myself. For if I do not work to liberate beings from the great sea of birth and death, who will?" Hearing the renunciant's words, the prince's heart filled with joy. "I feel the same. I wish to cast off these worldly desires and seek liberation. I too wish to free all beings from suffering. But I never knew what great fortune for me to meet you today. It is as if, amidst the darkness of the world, I have seen a bright light." After speaking, Siddhartha lifted his head to look upon the renunciant, but he had vanished. The prince believed that surely the renunciant had been the manifestation of past Buddhas come to instruct him. He then vowed that he would leave the home life and become a renunciant, no matter what. Gathering his thoughts and feelings, Siddhartha called back his noble attendants and silently returned to the palace. Since then, Prince Siddhartha started to look for ways to fulfill his wishes.